Hey guys, Coach Emily from Bold and Badass Fitness here, and today I'm coming at you with a video about a question that I get all the time, and that question is how to tell if you are working out hard enough. Obviously, the answer to this for you in particular really depends on you, your body, what you're doing, how you're doing it, how much time you have to pursue your goals, all of that stuff. But I want to throw out there that what the biggest indicator of whether or not you're working out hard enough is whether or not you're getting results. Obviously, if what you're doing is getting you results, you're probably doing it hard enough, well enough, in the right variety. Maybe, over the long term, there are things that'll need to change and all that, but if what you're doing gets you results, you're probably doing all right. And I will say this, I think a lot of people fear that they're not working out hard enough when they're probably working out plenty hard, or maybe even too hard. Some things that are often trotted out as examples of not working hard enough are if you're not sweating enough, if you're not just like cripplingly sore the next day, if you're not in pain during your workout, if you're not exhausted, if you're not throwing up. And I will tell you, all of those things are not proof that you're working out hard enough. Those are actually proof that things are going wrong. Not the sweat, maybe, but they're not indicators in and of themselves. So if a workout doesn't make you sore, that's not proof that it's a bad workout. If a workout doesn't make you sweat, that's not proof that it's a good or bad workout. The biggest determinant of whether or not your workout works is simply whether or not it gets you results. And you have to think, too, that for the type of work you're doing, it's possible that some workouts won't make you sweaty. I know when I was training for a powerlifting meet, we were doing less than 10, doing like 10 reps of the heaviest stuff. So, after that, I was barely sweaty at all. Sometimes I wasn't even sore, as I find that heavier reps don't tend to make me as sore as doing more reps does. And that's going to be true for a lot of people. Some other factors to consider in whether or not you're working out hard enough, or whether or not your workout is working for you really is beyond getting results, is like, how often are you training, right? Maybe you're working out plenty hard in a given session, but you're not training enough times per week to see an effect. And that may be true for some people. If you're kind of intermittent, you're like, yeah, I go 4 days a week, but in reality it's one. That might be a sign. I do think, though, that people often overestimate how hard they need to work and how often they need to work out in order to get results. People say this to me all the time because I'm a coach, that I must train so hard and so often and hours a day, and I do not. Picking up a dumbbell to show 1 or 2 reps of an exercise certainly is not working out. And I will say I work out 3 days a week. I train for about an hour or less at a time. So it really doesn't take that much. I feel pretty good about the results I get on that program. Now, let's also talk about how to tell if you're training too hard, as I think that is, like I said, probably a more common thing. One sign that you're training too hard is if you don't like training. If training isn't fun for you and you lack motivation, it takes a lot of willpower to get yourself to the gym and you just feel like death when you get there, that's a good sign that something is wrong. That's not how it's supposed to feel to work out. So low motivation and just being tired all the time in general are big signs of overtraining or of training too hard. If you're not getting results, like I said, so if your workout is not doing what you expect it or want it to do, that's a sign that you're training too hard. And then also if you're sick all the time, just like low-level sick. Hey, Dan, thanks for watching. If you're sick all the time, hey, all right, I'm back. Where are we? Oh, signs of overtraining. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about overtraining now. I have to move around. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about overtraining. So, one thing that I encounter a lot with people is that people think that a workout is just supposed to, like, totally decimate them, and will say, your workout is not supposed to be Armageddon. Maybe if you're at a gym in your particular context, or if you're training for an event, in that given event you might give it your all, but you don't have to give your all every day. Well, I mean, you should give your all, but you don't have to completely wreck yourself every day that you're training. One thing my old coach liked to say is it's a workout, not a dare, right? And this kind of brings home a bigger point when I talked about, like, getting injured a lot during your workouts. That's a sign of overtraining, in part because getting injured prevents you from doing more training. Right? So one of the biggest deals is if you're lifting such a heavy weight, or you're lifting in such a way that it leaves you just crippled, and you're more and more frequently injuring yourself, that's going to prevent you from getting results in the long term because you won't be able to train as hard, or as much, or as often. So you have to really think about, like, balancing the things you want to get, and this is something I'll see with people who have a really intense, maybe even short-term goal. They say, I have to lose 10 pounds by a wedding, it's coming up in 2 months. If I don't go to the 25-pound dumbbell instead of the 20-pound dumbbell, my life is over. But it's not over. And the thing is, if the 25-pound dumbbell injures you and the 20-pound dumbbell doesn't, you haven't really gotten any results from that. You're not getting more out of pushing harder. So I think those are some really big things to look out for. And then the last thing I want to leave you with, because you know me, I like to tell stories, right? The last thing I want to leave you with is a little story that I really like that kind of illustrates the mindset you should have in regards to training. So this is the story of the bus bench versus the park bench. If you think about when you're sitting at a park bench, right? You're just kind of sitting there, you have nowhere to be, you're like, oh, some squirrels came by, this is beautiful, this is scenic, right? You're just sitting there kind of enjoying your time and observing what's going on around you, watching people walk their dogs, ducks in the pond, etc. Now, the story is totally different when you're sitting on a bus bench. When I'm sitting at the bus bench and I'm waiting for the bus, if I gotta get to work or something like that, bike now, but you know, back in the day, right? Whenever you gotta get to work, if the bus is supposed to come at 8:11, at 8:09, you're like, all right, where's this bus? Where's the bus? The bus better get here. At 8:10, you're like, bus better get here. Bus better get here. At 8:11, if the bus is not there, your day is ruined. Oh, I'm not gonna make my connection. I'm gonna be late to work. Blah blah blah. At 8:13, it's all over. What's even the point, right? So the bus bench is a bench where you sit when you're really, really goal focused. The bus bench is all about certain place, certain time, bada boom, bada bing, let's do it. The park bench is more about just kind of experiencing life. And so I want you to consider this. Most of the year, you should be on the park bench. You should be training to just see what it does to your body. Now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't work hard, but it means that your workouts are not all meant to be just kind of crushing competitive workouts. Every once in a while, you can go into, bus bench mode and be really, really goal focused for a short period of time, but that's not going to be a sustainable mindset over the course of several months. So it's worth considering when you're in a workout, when you're telling yourself, should I be at the 20 or should I be at the 25? You have to ask yourself, am I on the bus bench right now or am I on the park bench? So I'll leave you with that for today. That's your how to tell if you're working out hard enough, and also how to tell if you're working out too hard. If you have other questions, obviously feel free to leave them in the comments. I'd love to answer them, but it's been great. I'm signing off.